Can the Spurs be that sneaky team in the West?
You are Locked On Spurs, your daily San Antonio Spurs podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
This is Emily Swallow, and you are listening to Locked On Spurs with Jeff Garcia.
Welcome back to Locked On Spurs right here on the Locked On NBA Network. I'm your host, Jeff Garcia, Spurs writer for Kansas City, San Antonio. Glad to have you back. Hope everybody's having a great work week. And you guys are the everydayers. We thank you for making Locked On Spurs you first listen each and every day. YouTube, iTunes, Spotify. Pick your favorite platform. The Kansas 5 Plus app. You can catch Locked On Spurs with the rest of the Locked On Network, wherever you get your favorite podcast. What are we doing today? We're going to be asking if this Spurs team can be that sneaky team out in the West. And also we're going to put into the spotlight Charles Bassey and his play throughout the preseason. And then we're going to try out a new little segment at the end of this episode. I joined a fan at the Frostbank Center, and it's a little live video recording and getting his fan thoughts, his fan feedback, and what Halloween costumes would he go as in a Spurs uniform. So I look forward to that at the end of the show. But to join us, he is Rudy Campos of Sweep the League. We're going to skip a little bit of an intro I normally do because Rudy is at work. It's tough to get Rudy on camera, but he carved out a little bit of time in his lunch break. So we're going to just dive right into it. Rudy, welcome back to Locked On Spurs.
Thanks, Jeff. Yeah, I've got a plane to catch to the Bahamas. I got tons of work to do, so my plane's about to leave in a minute.
You being serious? You're going to the Bahamas, or are you messing with me?
Well, considering everybody thinks you and I are made of money, and
that's true. That
money's there, so I won't say yay or nay on that.
All right. Once again, everybody, we apologize for no video. Again, Rudy's at work, as you hear, and he's just taking a little time out on his lunch break. So we're going to kind of speed things up with him so we can let him go back to making those bucks that he makes. He's got to put in that time to get the bucks. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Rudy, as of this recording, the Spurs have 3 preseason games under their belt. 1 and 2, excuse me. But, again, it's just preseason. Based on what you're seeing so far, Wemby getting integrated, Devin, Bassey, Trey Jones, Sohan, and Keldon are back. Do you think this team could become that sneaky, under-the-radar team in the West that can actually surprise some teams out West?
The biggest thing that they're going to have to overcome is they're going to really have to they're still going to have to find their identity. And we know Victor is going to be the focal point. But when it comes to the identity is how is everybody else around them going to be playing? We've seen Devin play already. We're getting some Sohan in there. Trey Jones is kind of struggled a little, but he's coming around. Everybody's role changes this year because of Victor. So we got to find their identity first, see how what kind of team they're going to be. They're going to be a running gun type team. Are they going to go forward down when they had Timmy, stuff like that. So we're trying to find that identity. But as far as them being a sleeper team, basically, they could be a sneaky play-in team for the play-in tournament. It is possible. I still really think that the West is super loaded. So it's going to be a tough hill to climb. But, we can honestly say from what we've seen in the first couple of preseason games that the team has matured. It is a lot better than last year's team. But, again, if it's playoff team, automatically, I don't think quite a playoff team, but a play-in team, they have a possibility of making some noise depending on what happens in the West.
Yeah, I think they can be a sneaky team out West. And I think they have a little bit of luck on their side, considering Memphis without John Morant to start the season. There's still, Dallas, Will Kyrie, and Luka work under a full season now. With Zion Williamson, would he get hurt again? Would be out of action. So I think, and of course, there's Houston. They're also in development as well. So I think there's some luck to this, but the biggest reason why I have the Spurs as a sneaky team is actually 2 reasons. One, Wemby. Wemby just comes on the scene and is that generational player, and maybe it doesn't take him a full season, and maybe just 2-3 months, and away we go. But also, I think this is not getting spoken about. Is I think the Spurs have sneaky good depth off the bench. You really look at it, I think their second unit could continue with the Spurs are in the game and they're just wrecking shop. Continue that. As of right now, let's just project that Sohan's the starter point guard on opening night. So that's Trey Jones off the bench. There's Doug McDermott. There's the revived play and just that next step for Malachi Branham.
Mhm.
There's Charles Bassey, who's been playing really, really well this preseason. We'll talk about him in a few seconds. And then there's still Keldon or Devin. Something has to give there. So one of those guys is going to come off the bench. And you still got Shetty Osman. I think their second unit can really bolster their primary unit. I think that's a big reason why this Spurs team could be a sneaky team out west, Rudy.
Yeah, and you're bringing up a fantastic point, Jeff, because in past years we haven't seen this. We haven't really seen this since probably the glory days, where you've had this kind of depth on the bench. I mean, you've got guys that could be potentially starters on other teams. So they have a really sneaky good bench, and I want to say probably they have one of the better benches in the league. I mean, if you really look at it. So I think if the Spurs starters can get off to a really good start, stay competitive throughout, the game against other team starters, against some of the better teams, the bench can outplay a lot of other teams' benches, especially those top-tier teams. I mean, if you look at a team out west like Golden State, I mean, they've got a really good starting five, but their depth on the bench is not very good.
Mm-hmm.
Look at another team, even like Denver. Denver lost some key players. So not saying the Spurs are going to be overall better than Denver, but bench-wise, they have a bench that can compete with the likes of the Nuggets. So what I think is the key to the Spurs season is that bench and that depth that they have. Great point on that.
Yeah, and also, too, I think the Spurs from last year's roster carrying over to this year, they learned a lot. They took, beatings last season with bad losing streaks, getting clobbered. I think that left a nasty taste in their mouth. We saw it on media day. Devin Vassell saying we're here for wins. Sohan, same thing. I recently had a chance to speak with Sohan, and it looks like the emphasis is on defense. It's still a work in progress, but you're seeing signs that they're trending in the right direction. In their first preseason game against Houston, holding them to under 50 points at half, 9 blocks. Zach Collins looking great, in place of Wemby, who sat out that game. And they did that without Wemby, without Vassell, and without Trey Jones, 3 of their better defenders. So their signs are trending in the right direction. I think offensively they won't have that much of a problem, obviously because of Wemby. But defensively, if they can get something going there, that's another reason why I think they can be a sneaky good team. There's going to be so much attention on Wemby. It's going to open up the spacing, the floor, the shots for all these other players. I think I projected them to maybe not get going sometime after All-Star break. I think they might get going before it's All-Star break. What do you think?
It's quite possible, but I'm going to go ahead. I want to stay with the same thing that you said and you and I have talked about. I think it's after the All-Star break. And the reason why is because if you look at their first 22 games, I think if I remember correctly, like 17 of those were against teams that were in the playoff or play-in. So they're going to be tested pretty early on the season. And that's a good thing because it shows what kind of team that we have here in San Antonio, how much they have matured, stuff like that. So I think if they get off to a strong start, it's going to be a good season. But these first couple of games, these 20 games, 22 games that they're going to have, it's a good test for them. But I want to stick with the after All-Star break. I think it gives Wemby time, to get adjusted. My biggest concern with Wemby is one concern I've had a lot, and that's rebounding. I mean, if you get him to average where he needs to be about 10, 11 rebounds a game, the season could be a marvelous season for the San Antonio Spurs. But we haven't really seen him rebound the ball, and I've heard people say, well, he only played 23 minutes. Well, in 23 minutes, he should have more than 4 rebounds. So that's my criticism of him. It's something that's going to come within time. He's got to be able to get down low. He's got to be able to get bored, stuff like that. But for me, I think once the identity's found, once we see who the starting 5 is going to be, once they get acclimated, the bench starts to roll, I think that's going to take you right around All-Star break, maybe a little before, maybe a little after. But I really want to put emphasis on the rodeo road trip because this is where we've seen Spurs teams really gel, come together, and turn it in that second half of the season.
He is Rudy Campos of Sweep the League. Follow him on Twitter at Sweep the League. Coming up next, we're going to be looking at Charles Bassey. He is playing sneaky good, sticking with that theme. We're going to ask Rudy his opinion on how Bassey is going to fit on the roster right here on Locked On Spurs. But first, I want to talk to you about Jace Medical. Look, there's a lot of uncertainty in the world today, and it's important to be prepared. The fires in Hawaii, the hurricanes, tornadoes in Florida, earthquakes, unrest in the Middle East. These can lead to supply chain shortages for medications or the inability to get medications in a timely manner. Here's your solution. The Jace case. You've got to get it right now. It's a personalized emergency medication kit that contains 5 essential antibiotics that treat the most common and deadly bacterial infections. You can also customize your case and add additional life-saving medications based on your unique needs. I have the Jace case. What I like about it, it's small and compact. It comes in a great pouch, and it's not a big old space eater in your apartment, your home, whatever you have. It just fits nice and snug in a little cabinet, and you're good to know. Yeah, peace of mind knowing you have life-saving medication at the hand. Jace Medical now offers customizability for your Jace case with dozens of add-on medications. You could choose medications that fit your family's unique needs as well as your own. The Jace is always continually working to expand their medication offerings. In these recent efforts, they've added ivermectin. It's an option in the Jace case. So make sure you get the Jace case right now. You also get gift cards. Yes, they have gift cards for you and your loved ones so they can get a Jace case of their own. Go to jacemedical.com, enter promo code LOCKEDON at checkout for a $20 discount on your order. That's promo code LOCKEDON at jasemedical.com. We're back right here on Locked On Spurs with Rudy Campos of Sweep the League. Make sure to follow him on Twitter at Sweep the League. Perhaps give him some advice what to do in the Bahamas. He's catching a flight there apparently because that's what rich guys do.
Yeah, you and I know that rich life. Private helicopters, private jets. We've got it all, man.
Got it all. Again, audio only today. Again, they really just at work, and he's carving out a little time on his lunch break to chat with us right here on Locked On Spurs. We're going to transition now into Charles Bassey. I think you and I have discussed this before, or maybe you are aware of it, that, beyond Wemby and Zach, the next question is going to be, okay, well, who backs them up? So as of right now, it's Mamu and Charles Bassey, maybe Barlow. But Bassey and Mamu seem to be the two primary candidates to be that first big off that bench. Let's talk about Bassey. I have him penciled in as that backup big, whether it's Zach or to Wemby. I like what he's been doing in the preseason. He's that bouncy big, athletic, young, coming off a solid season before the injury to his knee. You look at some of the numbers in preseason action. He leads the team in rebounds, something you brought up in the first segment. 7.7 rebounds per game. That's better than Victor, who has 4.5 a game. Better than Zach Collins, 6.5 through 3 preseason games. Blocks, he's tying Wemby with that, 2 a game through the preseason. And you dive deeper into what Bassey is doing. I mean, you're just amazed. So 17 minutes per game through 3 preseason games. He's giving you about 4 points a game, but defensively, that's what you like. The rebounds as mentioned, 7.7, the blocks, 2 blocks a game. Defensively, he's a space eater. I think he has the edge so far as the backup center to Collins or Wembanyama. Your thoughts?
Yeah, we've discussed this a lot about Bassey. It seems like you and I talk about Bassey a lot, and I always go back and forth with him. But seeing the way he's performed, seeing the way his work ethic is right now, and seeing that the Spurs are really concentrating on the defensive side, I'm actually very proud of what Charles Bassey's doing. And I think he is going to be that first guy coming off the bench because you don't really need scoring from him. With as many scorers as you have on this team right now, it can be okay for him to come in, be that defensive presence. I mean, come on. We're not talking about a guy that, like Jeff Ayers here, who was a former Spur coming in,
man, going way back to that.
spelling Timmy and them. We're talking about Charles Bassey, an athletic guy who, if he needs to give you 16, 17 a game, he is capable of scoring the ball. But just his defensive presence, his presence in the paint in general, rebounding, blocking shots, basically, just making it a hell for shooters coming into the lane, driving to the basket. So I think he'll be that guy off the bench. He needs to continue with the preseason that he's having to get, a good amount of minutes. I have it pretty even with him, maybe just a little bit ahead of Mamu, But right now, I would say he's going to get the nod. I just got to continue to see him to improve. And like I said, you don't really need a lot of offense. You need to stick with the defense side.
I didn't mention this. 2.7 offensive rebounds this preseason from Bassey. He gives you those second chance opportunities that the Spurs definitely can use. I mean, I think defensively, that's why I have him with the nod over Mamu at this moment. I mean, Mamu can just go ballistic in the next, last 2 preseason games, and where it's a different story. But comparatively, yeah, he's performing defensively better than Mamu. More rebounds, more blocks. Sure, maybe you could say, well, minutes per game. Sandro's only getting 8.7. Bassey's getting 17. But he has familiarity with the Spurs system. He's been in the Spurs system longer than Mamu. Mamu's just now getting around to learning the system. Mamu was a late addition to the team last year. So all in all, I got Bassey, likely being that backup to either one. And man, do you think Mamu's probably going to go to the G League at this rate?
No, they still need some depth. I think he's still going to make the roster. I mean, if you go with Bassey, Mamu, you're still going to have Steady Osman there. You still need some bigs regardless, because there's something in the back of my mind. I don't know if it's in the back of yours or anybody else's, but we still need to see that Victor side where, he doesn't get injured or hurt or something. We still have that fear in our back of our head because of his frame. But that's why I think they're going to keep, Mamu and Bassey on the roster. They're good at guards. At every position else, they're really, really good. They're really adept there. So I think they have a couple of positions open available for big guys, being Mamu and Bassey. The God guy out is going to be Barlow. He's going to be in Austin, but I mean, let's not sleep on Barlow either. Barlow can be a player pretty soon here.
Yeah, Barlow is an intriguing player. I had a chance to talk to Devin Vassell about Barlow, and he told me that he's high on Barlow, that he sees a lot of upside from the young guy. As a matter of fact, Vassell even told me that he's going to take Barlow under his wing to make sure that he contributes to the team and becomes a better player. So it looks like the players, especially Vassell, are high on Barlow. But you're right. He'll likely be in Austin next season, or this upcoming season, I should say. And I think he's definitely going to get a lot of call-ups. There's no doubt about that. There's going to be plenty of call-ups for Barlow, so he'll get his NBA shine. But as far as Bassey's concerned, yeah, I mean, I was there for that Houston preseason game. I mean, just his leaping ability for a guy his size. I mean, I saw him block a shot, sailed out into the front rows and beyond. He is just so active around the rim defensively and offensively, cutting to the rim, defensively helping on the weak side, getting those block shots. So I like Bassey. Is that who you're going to agree with? You're going to go with Bassey as backing up Wemby and Zach?
As of right now, as of this recording, yeah, I've got Bassey in the lead. I had Mamu earlier, like a week ago, but with the way that they're playing, Bassey's coming in, making a bigger difference than Mamu is. I'm putting Bassey ahead of him right now.
He is Rudy Campos of Sweep the League. We got to let him go, as you know. He is busy man at work, but we're not going to let him go without plugging some stuff. What's going on at Sweep the League, buddy?
Yeah, sweep is, you know what, football season kicked off. I always talk about it, so we're talking about football, but we're actually getting more in-depth in the Spurs talk. We've got Rocky Garza, who's a part of us, who's actually going to the games now, so he's providing some insight for us. But nonetheless, we're talking San Antonio Spurs. We're talking Dallas Cowboys. Is it going to be a lost season again? We'll find out. We're talking everything you ever want to talk about, so just join us here on Sweep the League, wherever podcasts are available.
Be sure to follow him on Twitter at Sweep the League and wish him luck in the Bahamas. He's going to be smoking cigars. He's going to be riding yachts. He's going to be sipping drinks on the beach, living that money bag life. Is that true, Rudy?
It is, but you know what? I haven't made it quite yet. I don't have a drink named after me. Actually, two of them named after me. So once I get there, then I know I've made it to elite status.
Let him go. Rudy, we thank you for taking time off of your busy schedule, coming out on your lunch break to discuss all things Spurs right here on Locked On Spurs. Coming up next, video from a recent visit I had to the Frostbank Center, where I was able to speak to a Spurs fans, and we talk about Wemby, we talk about Halloween costumes, Spurs style, much more. A little bit of an experiment. I want to see how it goes. So forgive the quality, but it's pretty fun. Definitely check it out. So coming up next, an interview with a Spurs fan from the Frost Bank Center. I'm still not used to saying it yet, but I'm going to get it right. The Frost Bank Center. But before we do that, I want to talk to you about FanDuel. You got to check out FanDuel right now. It's America's #1 sports book. Snap into the action this NFL season with FanDuel. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's it. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. NFL season's underway. MLB playoffs are underway. The NBA season's around the corner. Your Spurs are about to start. Getting the game going in the regular season. What better time now than to go visit FanDuel? Again, America's #1 sports book. Get the app right now. It's easy to use. Wide range of betting options that includes player props, over-unders, spreads, and so much more. I visited. You should go check out FanDuel and get the app as well. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. And I want to talk to you about Mud Slingers drive-through coffee. Go check it out. 2404 Thousand Oaks Drive in San Antonio. It's 281-1604. They have a wide-ranging menu from dairy alternatives to their signature Mud Slinger coffee drink to the Alien inspired by Wimbayama. It's a full can of Red Bull, kiwi, and green apple. They got the OG OJ for those old school people like myself that love the Orange Julius. Recreated only at Mud Slingers drive-through coffee. Over 300 5-star reviews cannot be wrong. They have new drinks coming out daily. They got the Sub-Zero in honor of UTSA's Frank Harris. I mean, what more can you want? They got mini donuts. Go there right now. If you're in San Antonio, open every day, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. I go there. You should go there too. Also, check out the Red Bull Infused Lightning Bolt series, one of my favorite selections on their menu. So, once again, 2404 Thousand Oaks Drive in San Antonio, and you want to go visit them right now. Friendly staff, local proud community member, serving San Antonio, proud sponsor of Locked On Spurs, and the first, might I add. So, check out Mud Slingers on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, wherever you find your favorite social media platforms. They are there at Mudslinger SATX. Life is too short for a bland coffee.
Hey everybody, this is Nathan Ray Clark from Criminal Minds and Modern Family, and you are listening to Locked On Spurs, hosted by Victor Wembanyama's new best friend, Jeff Garcia.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and introduce a new segment right here on Locked On Spurs. Spurs Rockets preseason game, and I am joined by good friend. What is your name?
My name is Josh Lopez.
Josh, you've been a long time Locked On Spurs listener, watcher, all that good stuff.
Oh yeah, I started like listening like about a year and a half ago, like kind of like in the middle of last season for sure. Yeah. Been especially since like Wemby's been the main topic.
Sure. Yeah, exactly.
I've just been kind of keeping up like your podcast.
Right. Can you explain to the crowd that there was no tech issues? Because I have a witness. No, I had no tech issues.
So far.
I just jinxed myself.
Yeah.
All right. So it's going to get it going. He has to get to his seat, so we're going to keep this short and sweet. So Wemby and load management, a lot of Spurs fans were upset over a preseason game. First of all, your thoughts on how fans reacted, and shouldn't fans already expect that that's coming?
Yeah, and all things considering, I mean, it's a preseason game. I mean, you're gonna like be playing like your players, like you're gonna maybe eventually find out who you're gonna cut.
Yeah.
But I do totally understand. I mean, these tickets are a lot of money now. Yeah. So people pay their hardworking money to come out here, and they want to see Wemby, but I mean, it's a preseason game. I mean, it's kind of, you got to be expecting the starters not to play.
Right, exactly, yeah. Yeah, that's the thing, too. Look, it's coming, everybody. It's coming. Get used to it. You're likely going to see him get load managed. I was kind of shocked that Spurs fans got upset over a preseason game. Were you shocked, too?
I wasn't. I mean, considering how well he did the past
few games. So you saw it coming.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. Hopefully they play Kelvin Johnson tonight. But
he's repping the KG jersey tonight.
Yeah. But I totally understood. I mean, I feel like we saw what we needed to see from them already. Yeah. And I mean, sure, it would have been really nice to see them play against the Rockets tonight, because I really want to see them beat them bad. Yeah. But that's totally understandable.
You see, Rockets fans are going to look at this preseason, if they do win, and be like, we beat y'all. You know how Rockets been chirping this offseason, haven't they?
Yeah, and I think this is like I don't want to say like it's kind of like if they do win tonight, it would be like an excuse that Wemby wasn't playing.
Right.
But I mean, it's a preseason game.
Exactly. It's preseason basketball, everybody. No need to get all panicked, okay? Wemby's okay. They got to evaluate talent, as Josh said. They got some cuts to do, so that's coming. You know what? I know you got to get to your seat soon. First of all, your quick impression of Wemby so far through 2 preseason games.
He's an alien. He's
Yeah.
an alien. I was at the last preseason game, and man, just like that one dunk he had that
Did he even jump?
No,
exactly. Yeah.
I mean, you saw Thomas Bryant's face too, and those clips.
He had that deer in headlights, kind of what just happened. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we'd expect more of that probably throughout the season.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so, and I feel like we still haven't even seen everything he can do.
All right, I gotta ask you get a Wemby jersey. You're rocking KJ. I'm sorry. You're gonna rock Wemby.
I do. I am.
Yeah.
I have the Wemby jersey. I knew he wasn't gonna play tonight, so I decided, wear Kelvin's jersey tonight.
Smart man.
Yeah.
Smart man. All right, it is the Halloween season, so we're gonna have a little fun right now. I already told him what we're gonna talk about right now, so he had time to think about it. The top 3 Halloween costumes Spurs edition. Which 3 players would Josh go to a Halloween party in ranking order? So his 3rd best to his number 1 best. All right, let's get it going. Who is your number 3 all-time Spur that you would go as in a Halloween costume?
Okay, I would say first one maybe.
Like first as a number 1 or number 3?
Number 3.
Okay.
I'd say Manu.
Oh,
Manu.
interesting.
Just because, I feel like if you go out in a Manu costume, first of all, a lot of people know in general.
But are you going to go as long hair Manu or bald Manu?
I'd go as long hair Manu, just so to wave the hair.
You get that little breeze going and your hair flying. All right, who's your number 2 Halloween costume Spurs style?
You had mentioned it, and I was thinking about it a lot when you talked about it, but Iceman going in with the
yes, Iceman, come on,
especially with this throwback.
Show him, yeah.
I just love.
Can you imagine him rocking the gold chain right now? The gold chain, maybe the wristband, the sweatband, the headband, and everything. Get a little closer in. All right. So who is your number 1 Spurs costume if you're going to put on at a Halloween party?
I would say David Robinson.
Oh, the Admiral.
And only because one time I actually did, I had met him when I was a lot younger. And, he's just definitely one of the players I look up to the most. So I think that's probably the top.
What jersey would you put him on if you could pick any jersey throughout Spurs history?
I really.
So you rock the ABA, the ABA look,
the ABA.
Yeah, no love for any Fiesta jerseys. Maybe that first one. Remember that first edition? Remember the black with the?
I like the white one more.
What was that? That was 2 years ago, right?
Yeah, that was 2 years ago.
That was like those popsicle colors, right? Something like that. Yeah. Well, you're like the first person to say you really liked them. I meet more people that say they don't like it.
Yeah. I mean, it's white.
Yeah, it is. Josh, I want to thank you for stopping by on this inaugural segment right here on Locked On Spurs. Funny story. I was setting up and Josh saw me and Josh came up to me. So universes were colliding. I was setting up. I needed somebody to. Josh, you're being a guinea pig right now. Can I just be honest with you? He's a guinea pig right now. So and he was like, "Yeah, I'm down." So hopefully this worked out. No tech issues. And Josh, tell everybody they can follow you on social media.
I really just go on Instagram. It's Josh _LOPZ _. Just follow me on Instagram, I guess.
And make sure to let him know what you think about his Spurs Halloween costume list. 3-1. He had Manu, number 3, and number 2, Iceman with the gold chain, and number 1, David Robinson with the second-year Fiesta jersey, right? Yeah. So let us know what you think. All right, that's it right here. So for Josh, I am Jeff. We're going to put a lock in this episode of Locked On Spurs.
Go Spurs, go.